mentioned it in your writing that almost nobody admits their lack of humor. As you put it, quoting you, if you were to ask people what they want in a friend or a lover, it's very likely they would include a sense of humor. Funny is often right at the top of list with caring and honest. End of quote. Is a lack of humor or lack of a sense of humor a flaw in itself?
So the fact that someone might be easy to be around or delightful may not necessarily reflect on their moral character. But Giselinda Cowpers, the sociologist of humor, wrote a book called Good Humor, Bad Taste, Sociology of the Joke. And it's a very good book. You may know it already. But in there, she does this sociological analysis of how one sense of humor is connected to your social capital or your class. And how it is seen as a desirable quality in intimate relationships. There's been all this psychological and sociological work on what role it plays in interpersonal relationships. I argued in that piece on political virtue, and I'm thinking about with regard to the current chapter, that possibly a sense of humor is not in itself morally virtuous, but it is conducive to things that are clearly moral virtues, right? And so maybe being easier to be around is just conducive to things like benevolence or concern for others, more traditional virtues. So maybe it's just that people who are funny are more skilled at things that are in themselves virtues.
Talking about philosophy and history of philosophy, I mean, from ancient times to the 20th century, at least, the most that any notable philosopher wrote about laughter and humor was an essay, or only a few lesser-known thinkers such as Francis Hutchinson and James Beattie wrote that much, and how negative most philosophers have been in their assessments of humor. From ancient Greece again until the 20th century, the vast majority of philosophical comments on laughter and humor focus on a scornful and mocking laughter, or on laughter that overpowers people rather than on comedy, wit, joking. Why is it so?
So why might people, within a certain culture have a sense of humor? Well, maybe it's because they live within an oppressive culture. And so they need the humor as a mode of resistance. They need the humor to either overtly or covertly critique those in power, or maybe they need it in order to deal with a very difficult situation, right? So if you cannot overcome the situation, you laugh at the fact that you're in it. So maybe in a more restrictive culture, you're going to see a sense of humor blossom. The thing I've been thinking about recently is, why is it that tragedies or tragic emotions are considered more aesthetically valuable or profound than comedies or the feeling of amusement?